Recently, China has been plagued by a series of fires following reports of heating pipe bursts and several fire incidents. The country is witnessing a surge in major fire accidents with frequent and widespread occurrences burning through various regions. Netizens are expressing their dismay, especially with the Lunar New Year approaching, lamenting that everything is being lost to these fires. Quick, look, there's a fire here right at this intersection, New Jasun Westgate. It's a transformer on fire. They're trying to put it out with fire extinguishers right now. There's a car nearby, but nobody's trapped. The fire's still burning and the extinguishers aren't working. On December 20th, a factory in Chaozhou, Guangdong experienced a fire with flames shooting into the sky, creating chaos at the scene. Workers were seen frantically moving goods out of the factory while fire engines were engaged in extinguishing the blaze. A video shows the explosion incident at China's Qilu chemical plant, presenting different angles of the explosion and burning scenes. The footage captures flames erupting from the factory and thick black smoke billowing upwards, resembling mushroom clouds, with explosions caught on camera. The enormity of the fire was evident as onlookers near the caution tape exclaimed, "Oh no, the houses are burning down." Given that the factory was an ethylene chemical plant of Qilu Petrochemical, concerns were not only about the damage and potential casualties, but also about the hazardous nature of the smoke billowing from the site. The media that the incident occurred at 9:25 a.m. on December 23rd. As of 5 p.m. that day, firefighters were still tackling the fire at Qilu Petrochemical's ethylene plant's cracking workshop, with no reports of casualties received at that time, and the cause of the fire remained unclear. A passerby who happened to be near the site at the time of the explosion shared with the media, "I witnessed the fire and heard multiple loud explosions, feeling as if the whole city shook slightly." Simultaneously, a netizen living nearby revealed online that their home's windows and doors were shattered by the explosion, causing significant damage. An employee working at a nearby company said the explosion was loud, with debris flying everywhere. The company's glass doors were shattered and employees were dispersed due to fears of a secondary explosion. The chemical plant's fire and explosion incident have sparked considerable online discussion. A netizen criticized the authorities for their ostrich-like attitude, making the fire seem more chilling. Despite the explosion's sound being heard for miles, Qilu Petrochemical's PR department allegedly instructed employees to tighten control over social media platforms, prohibiting them from taking photos, recording videos, or uploading them, attempting to cover up the truth of the explosion. The lack of an investigation into the fire's origin and subsequent inquiries has led to widespread skepticism among netizens. Another netizen, copywriting Youth Memory, revealed that the state-owned chemical plant had reported zero equipment safety hazards throughout the year, meaning all facilities were considered safe before the explosion. He pointed out that the plant's decades-old chemical installations were typically assessed as moderate risk during national risk evaluations. However, the parent company assessed this aging chemical plant as low risk. There's definitely something wrong with this. The same netizen also mentioned that insiders aware of the situation disclosed that the incident might be related to a pipeline leak, making the rescue efforts challenging. The fuel gas spreading to the surroundings could potentially impact the local atmospheric environment, posing a threat to the safety of nearby residents' lives and properties, urging them to take protective measures. Previously, Qilu Petrochemical's ethylene plant had already experienced a similar explosion on June 9, 2020, due to safety inspection oversights, resulting in 2 deaths and 4 injuries. Evidently, the state-owned chemical plant did not learn from this lesson, leading to a similar explosion 3 years later. Before the chemical plant explosion, a fire at a department store in Hunan had already triggered intense online discussions about fire incidents. The fire, which occurred on the evening of December 15th, was devastating, reducing the large department store to a mere skeleton. The fire was so intense that it couldn't be extinguished immediately and had to be allowed to weaken before intervention. The blaze lasted until the morning of December 16th, with thick smoke still emerging from the site. Due to the fire that destroyed everything inside, there were continuous cries of merchants at the scene of the fire. A shop owner in the market reveals to the media that the fire mainly consumed shops and warehouses, spreading across 5 floors. Another business owner lamented that all 3 of his shops in the mall were burned down. Lee, the owner of a toy wholesale shop, told the media that she had already gone home after work when the fire broke out, unaware that her 200 square meter warehouse is being engulfed by the flames. The destruction of goods worth 3 million yuan in the warehouse left her in despair. Upon hearing the news, she cried continuously for 2 days, saying, "Decades of hard-earned money went up in flames. I don't know where to earn money again. I feel like I can't go on living. All the hard work I put into my business is destroyed in an instant. To our customers who purchase from us, rest assured, even if I have to sell everything I own, I'll make sure your orders are delivered in full and undamaged. Please don't worry, I've lost millions. We deal in electronics, and now our warehouse and storefront are completely burned down." Another owner of a department store said this year's business had already been challenging. The fire added insult to injury, burning through years of savings, causing such heartache for her. A firefighter interviewed at the scene said, "This market is an old wholesale market, covering several thousand square meters, mainly storing fabric-type goods. Since the market mainly sells clothing, toilet paper, and other daily necessities, once a fire occurs, the warehouses filled with these flammable items make it difficult to extinguish. At the height of the fire, flames reached the roadside. It was not until around 5 a.m. that the fire was controlled, and by about 2 p.m. on the 16th, all the remaining fires were extinguished." Following the incident, an announcement stated that the fire was due to non-compliant fire safety measures at the market, with fire hydrants failing to produce water, leading to the wholesale market's destruction. However, why the firefighting equipment malfunctioned and how previous fire department inspections passed the mall's fire safety systems remain undisclosed. The property management company involved issued a statement acknowledging their irrefutable responsibility. As a gesture of apology, they dismissed the vice president of the property group, the general manager of the property company, as well as the supervisor. Government departments also announced that they would allocate 27,000 square meters of the mall's building area for affected merchants to resume operations and provide 2 years of rent-free support, without mentioning compensation for the merchants' losses. In the comments section of the incident's handling announcement, most netizens expressed that firing employees and providing rent-free space were insufficient. They argued that compensating the merchants for their losses should be the government's priority. One commented, "Those fired are just scapegoats. For us merchants, whether you fire someone or not is an internal matter of your group. We are only concerned about compensation as decades of effort have been destroyed overnight." Another said, "Just firing a few people and that's it? What about the management of our store property? Like Zhuo Jianmin, who is still at large. How did the fire inspection pass previously? Why was there no water in the fire hydrants? What's the real truth? We don't accept this outcome." In addition to the Hunan department store fire, a furniture city in Qinzhou, Guangxi, also experienced a sudden fire on December 25th, resulting in 1 death, according to official Chinese sources. This furniture city typically sells comprehensive items like beds, sofas, dinnerware, and bedding. Due to possible restrictions by the authorities, information about the cause and follow-up of this fire incident is scarce online. Department store fires are not the only concern. State-owned chemical plants are also experiencing explosions. Besides the earlier mentioned Shandong chemical plant, a chemical factory in the Guanggang Petrochemical Industrial Zone in Quanzhou, Fujian, also caught fire. Thick smoke billowed from the site, with many workers running for their lives and others fleeing on bikes. According to official announcements, there were injuries. The fire occurred during a trial run at a production unit in the China Chemical Tianchen New Materials Company Limited. It raises suspicions this was again due to safety inspection issues. A lobby within a mobile communication company on Jiudu Road, Henan, also experienced a fire. On December 24th, a residential high-rise in the Wukang Wangjing neighborhood in Kaifu District, Changsha, Hunan, caught fire. Regarding the frequent fire incidents, opinions vary online. Apart from safety inspection loopholes in factories and malls, there might be other underlying issues behind these fires, as suggested by netizens citing similar recent cases. This year's winter solstice was supposed to be a good day. It's a time for small family reunions bigger than New Year. But unfortunately, there was a baffling fire at Ganglo Central. I heard it start burning around 11 in the morning. When I got there in the afternoon, it was still smoky with roads and alleys blocked off and lots of people watching. The planned demolition of Ganglo was suddenly accelerated by this fire, leading to an agreement for demolition among the surrounding factories. It's like what happened in Shenzhen's Sanlian village over a decade ago, where a major fire wiped out the garment village, and the big fire at Hanzheng Street that led to the disappearance of small workshops there. I wonder if this fire was man-made or an act of fate. Now, because of this, no work will happen here for the next 10 days to half a month. I remember back when I was studying medicine at Hanzheng Street, a big fire killed several people, and we all went home early for the new year. So why build garment factories? Because they have complete facilities and comprehensive firefighting equipment. Factories are separate from dormitories, ensuring people's safety in case of a fire. Moreover, some netizens commented such significant economic losses only worsen the already unclear economic trends. Not just fires, but recent natural and man-made disasters in China, like earthquakes, could catalyze the collapse of China's economy. Hardships in people's lives might be the last straw for the camel. CNN reported on December 29th that the global community initially expected China's economy to rapidly recover and resume its role as a global growth engine this year. However, various factors have now stalled China's economy. It's even labeled as a drag on global output by institutions like the International Monetary Fund. CNN's report further mentioned that despite numerous problems in China's economy, such as the real estate crisis, stagnant consumption, and high youth unemployment rates, most economists still believe China could achieve its official target growth rate of around 5% this year. However, this target is still lower than China's average growth rate of over 6% before the pandemic. Combined with the various variables currently affecting China due to natural disasters and economic crisis, the country's economy is expected to continue its downward trend. Economists have expressed growing pessimism around China's economic situation in 2024, and the economy might face decades of stagnation. Derek Scissors of the American Enterprise Institute said, "The 2024 challenge for the Chinese economy will not be GDP growth, that will likely be above 4.5%. The challenge will be that the only direction from there is down." Without significant market reforms, China might fall into what economists call the middle income trap, where emerging economies grow rapidly out of poverty but struggle to reach high income status. This refers to a crisis where people's living standards and income do not match the pace of economic development. Last week, Nike, the renowned multinational sports brand, issued a warning about the Chinese market. Due to sluggish market conditions, Nike expects weak revenues in early 2024 and plans to cut costs by $2 billion over the next 3 years, including significant layoffs. This is another alarming signal for China. On December 25th, Tech News report mentioned that besides Nike, other companies with significant operations in China have also warned of the country's continuing economic weakness. For instance, Apple reported in October that its third largest market, China, saw a 2.2% decline in quarterly revenue to $15 billion, well below Wall Street's prediction of $17 billion. Additionally, Apple faces pressure from Chinese government agencies and state-owned enterprises prohibiting employees from using foreign brands like iPhones. The report also stated that Goldman Sachs CEO John Waldron's recent visit to China found the economy moving in the opposite direction of the United States. According to Waldron, while the U.S. economy shows positive animal spirits in consumption post-pandemic, China exhibits the opposite negative animal spirits. In simple terms, due to low consumer sentiment and lack of money, even a strong market or economic fundamentals in China cannot boost economic development. The continuous emergence of unfavorable factors, such as natural and man-made disasters and economic crisis, further weakens China's economic growth, leaving it at a disadvantage for a considerable period.